Good morning, friends! I am finally at my mom's house, which means I have my ring light. And I have my makeup, all of my makeup. So it is time for a makeup and chat. I don't really know what to call this because literally it's just me doing makeup and rambling on about random things. I know some of you don't like my camera this way, but I literally look so weird when my camera is off to the side. I can't get used to it. I'm working on it still for you guys. Plus, I can see myself better this way. So just bear with me with this video. It feels like forever since I've last done a makeup video, so I'm really excited. And I pulled kind of an all-nighter, but I ended up taking like an hour nap, so I'm kind of like groggy and a little not like fully here, if you know what I mean. So let's get started. Okay, first I am going to use this NYX Bare With Me Prime Set Refresh Spray because I love it. They weren't kidding when they said refresh. It literally feels so refreshing. Also, I just got done washing my face and I used warm water and I'm feeling kind of warm. So that setting spray on my face, chef's kiss. So now I have to let it dry for a minute or two before I put on my primer. Okay, now I'm going to use this NYX Marshmallow face primer. This stuff smells so good. It smells like vanilla and marshmallow. It's honestly amazing. It is kind of spendy though. I'm not a person who likes to spend a lot of money on a lot of things. I'm like always like too afraid to. I don't really know why I'm like that, to be honest. I mean, sometimes it's not a bad thing. But for some reason, like when it comes to makeup or any facial products, I'm just like, do I want to? Do I not want to? Like, which let me know in the comments if you're like that too. I just feel like sometimes things are a little overpriced, or I'm just cheap. I don't know. But it's just crazy. But, you know, sometimes, especially with makeup, sometimes, you know, the more expensive it is, the more sometimes the more expensive products are, the better the quality. Sometimes, not all the time. Not all the time. So the NYX primer that I just put on my face really helps with the foundation not look super cakey. It goes on smoother and I don't have to like pat my face with this beauty blender a whole shit ton of times, which is honestly really, really nice. I really appreciate that. I still take the time to pat my face a lot anyway, just because I'm afraid my makeup will look cakey, you know? Another thing that I found that helps is wetting your beauty blender. It's like a little trick that I learned online. Probably from a YouTube video, honestly. That kind of helps a bit too, although I never know how wet you're supposed to like wet your beauty blender. So I just wing it, honestly. So I was using one of those face razors when I was washing my face, and as you can see, I nicked myself. So that's what that red dot is right there. It's literally blood. So I kind of want to talk about things that I have gone through the last several months. I feel like the past like 17 months I'm pretty sure it's been that long. It has been a huge growing point, like an awakening. I had an awakening for many things, honestly. So as some of you guys may know, who personally know me, I went through a breakup that pretty much broke me. The guy that I was with, I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. A lot of people, including my family members, all thought that we were going to get married. I thought we were going to eventually get married. My grandfather even had many freaking talks about engagement and all that stuff. Thanks, Papa. But anyway, we were together for almost 4 years, I guess. We ended up breaking up because things were just not working out, I guess. And, you know, when you think you found the one, you obviously get super heartbroken and feel like your whole world just like tumbled down. Now, at some point, I realized, I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to focus on me and figure out what I want to do with my life because clearly the thing that I was going for just wasn't happening. So, plan B. So I was just out enjoying life, or at least trying to enjoy it, because honestly, I was pretty miserable. But I was starting to do like little things for myself. And one thing that I have always been really, really bad at is self-care, because I'm always wanting to take care of other people. Because I was always wanting to take care of other people. Make sure everyone felt safe and happy and comfortable, because I'm a fixer. That's what I do. My mom literally will call me out on it. I'm a fixer. Anyone who doesn't feel loved or safe or anything, basically anyone who's broken, even when I'm broken, I could care less about me. I just want to make sure that the other person is okay. And I'm pretty sure I'm always going to be like that. However, I have been learning self-care. So doing things for me, taking time to myself, whether it's me going out somewhere, going out for a drive, or sitting out at the beach and just taking everything in, meditating, all that jazz. All the good stuff, right? And honestly, it's been like a real freaking struggle, because the one thing I wanted, I was so close to start building more of that life, and one day it just like all crumbled. So I'm like, well, now what? Because that was like pretty much all I really wanted. So fast forward a couple months, 2-3 months, right? I end up going on a business trip with, it's like a women's retreat. And I went to a town called Clinton, which is on an island in northern Washington state, called Whidbey Island. Beautiful place, by the way. Absolutely beautiful place. 10 out of 10 recommend. I wasn't going to go to this trip, but my best friend from college really wanted me to go, and I had a special friend at the time who really pushed me to go, because he wanted me to do things for myself, because he even called me out on my shit. Like, you are a fixer, you need to stop doing that, you need to start doing things for you. And he knew it was going to be good for me, so I'm like, all right, so you and my best friend are both telling me to go, so I guess I'm going to go. I rode up there with my best friend. She drove. She's awesome. Super funny. I miss her. It's been a long time. So Jade, if you're ever watching this, I love you. Anyway, I went for think it was like 3 days that we were there. And I'm really glad that we went, because during this women's retreat, it's such an empowering it was such an empowering weekend. We were all lifting each other up. We were learning how to be more confident in ourselves. There was a boudoir shoot that I was definitely not planning on participating in, because when I didn't have the proper attire to take those photo shoots with. And I've never been that comfortable with my body ever. That was one of many things that we did. We also learned how to work our business better. We made friends, with each other, got to know each other within our team, and it was just absolutely amazing. And there were some downtimes where I decided that I needed to try to take time when we had, the free time, to just sit somewhere peaceful and meditate, because I felt like I was like completely lost, and I'm like, okay, I need to breathe, because I kept having anxiety. This house was 3 stories long, and the second story, which is like the main floor, there's a deck. There's a deck on the second and the third floor. I was on the second, where the main floor. And it's this very foresty place, very foresty island. And the house like kind of overlooked the water. It was like down the road, but you could see the ocean, and it was very peaceful. And the energy of that whole surrounding was just, I don't know how to explain it. There was like a lot of energy there, a lot of character on that island, especially that house. I was also going through a spiritual awakening at the time. So everything was confusing and giving me anxiety. New things kept happening to me. Now, I've always been pretty spiritual, and I'm also a Christian. Yes, you can be both. We'll get to that later. So I did some meditating, and it helped a lot. And I just reflected on my life a lot while I was there. And at the last day, our team leader had this whole speech about making dreams into a reality, because that's what she was doing with her life. Now, she thought she wanted one thing for her life, and she would make these vision boards, and she would always conquer these goals. She would mark them off one by one, and eventually she got exactly what she wanted. And then eventually she realized she didn't really want that. She did, but she felt like she needed something more. So she moved her family out of the country, and they're spending time in a certain amount of time in certain countries, with her family, with her husband and her 2 kids. They were living in the Dominican Republic for 2 years. And now they had just moved to Japan, and they'll be there for 5 years. And after that, they'll eventually move to another country for a certain amount of time. They're just traveling away. So what ended up happening after her speech, we had to write our own speeches. And the last paragraph had to involve what we wanted in our dream, or what we wanted in life. Like our dreams and goals and whatnot. And we had to talk, read our speeches in front of one another. Well, we didn't have to, but a lot of us chose to, including myself. But the thing is, with the last paragraph of our speech, when it came to our dreams and goals, instead of saying, I want this, or I hope for this, I dream of that, yada yada, right? We had to write it like it was already happening, like it has been planned, Like it was already in the works, right? So instead of I want, I hope, I dream, we all wrote, this is what's happening. I'm going to get this. I'm gonna do that. Yada, yada, yada. And I was sitting there, shaking because me and speaking in front of a bunch of people gives me a lot of anxiety. But as I was reading it, it felt so right, I mean, it took me a while to write that last paragraph because I'm like, what do I really want? Where do I really want to be in life? And my dream has always been somewhere else that's not here. I can't quite tell you guys yet about it because it is a huge secret and I've got family watching. Anyway, but the speech just felt really right, and it's something that I couldn't stop thinking about. So within 5 days, I started looking into what I needed to do in order to get to that certain place, and what I should be doing, or how long it was going to take me, what I should be doing in the meantime to help me prepare for this big, huge moment that will end up happening. And ever since, it's been a year. It's been a year since this trip. Ever since I have been working towards this huge thing that I have been keeping a huge secret. And it's very exciting. Now my injury really set me back. And it makes it feel like my goals aren't going to happen, which aren't true. That's just a fear that I have to knock out of my head. I have to continue doing daily affirmations just so that I can not be so psyched out, which is another thing that I had to learn to do is daily affirmations because I didn't appreciate myself enough. And honestly, doing the daily affirmations it felt ridiculous at first, but it's really nice because all you have to do is give yourself 3 compliments every morning, and it helps when you are looking at yourself in the mirror because it's, like you need to look at yourself in the freaking soul, right? In your eyes. But it helps. And I also started writing it down. And every day has to be different things. You have to give yourself different compliments. And eventually I started writing them down so that I wouldn't forget. And it's also nice to read. Now, at first, I didn't really have like a whole lot of an opinion about myself. So trying to find things that I really appreciated about myself was a little challenging, but not for long. After a little bit of doing these affirmations, it forces you to think about all of the things about you, all of the good qualities, and you end up finding more and more things about yourself that you really appreciate. You really learn how to appreciate yourself. And it also helps with self-love. And the self-love journey, and self-love is like a huge thing in this story. I often, forget my self-worth, which is not good. Because if you don't know your worth, then how do you expect anyone else to? How do you expect to, when you don't know your worth, then you end up letting people disrespect you and crossing boundaries, and it just makes life for you kind of difficult. But I did it, and I go and often tell everyone that they should do affirmations. Now, I haven't done affirmations in a while because I got kind of lazy. So from time to time, I have to just remind myself if I'm feeling down, like, nope, I don't want to feel this. This is not going to happen today. And I'll start doing some affirmations. Sometimes I'll do like a whole handful just to get me out of like a funk, 10 out of 10 recommend. Knowing your worth is important because you are worth everything, babe. You are worth everything. You can conquer the world. As far as your dreams, it doesn't matter how big your dream is, because mine is kind of more simple, but it's huge to me. Other people's dreams are like really out there. You can do it. You can do it. This one girl that's on my team, she wants to open up a salon under the sea. She wants to have a salon under the sea. I mean, come on, how cool is that? And there is somewhere on this planet, and I'm pretty sure I don't know. I know it's somewhere on this planet because we were all looking it up and everything last year. There is a salon under the sea. It can happen. When you tell yourself something is going to happen, and if you want it bad enough, it will happen. When you tell yourself something is going to happen, you're going to end up doing the research on what needs to happen, and pretty soon you're going to start slowly getting there. It's all about manifestation. Honestly, this is the start of manifestation. That sounds weird. Manifesting. Manifestation. That sounds... I'm not Englishing very well, probably. I'm really fucking sorry. Do you know that Ariana Grande song, I want it, I got it. I want it, I got it. You want it, you can get it. Starts with you. I have told a few people about my plan. I'm giving myself like 2 years to get there. But it's going to take me even longer to get to the end goal in the place that I plan on going to, which is okay because something like that really takes time. But the important thing is, I know that it's going to happen because I'll be damned if I live my whole life sitting here wondering what my life would be like if I didn't make the move when I knew that I could. FOMO is a real thing, and it's a thing that you do not want to experience. What is it that you really want in life? Really think about it. But I've told a few people about it, and people are like, wow, that's crazy. And I tell them exactly what I want and what I plan, and then they're like, you can do the same thing here, right? Like, yeah, but I don't want to be here. This is where I'm supposed to be, And I know when a lot of people, especially my family, when they hear about this plan, when the time comes, because I have a plan on how I'm going to deliver the news, they're not going to be happy about it at all. There are even certain family members who will end up calling me stupid because they don't want me to go. Worst case scenario, life there isn't going to be as exciting or fulfilling as I thought it, will be, and I move back home. I mean, you can't continue living your life in fear. You can't keep doing that. I mean, you want to be afraid of everything and not have the experience, whether it ends up being a pass or fail. Also, that's another thing. Don't look at everything as a pass or fail. Otherwise, you're going to keep on failing because you're going to think about, I don't want to fail. And then you're going to be worrying about that so much, you're going to end up failing. Not everything is a pass or fail. And that is something that I have been raised to think everything is a pass or fail. And I am trying to end that cycle so that I do not pass it down to my kids in the future if I have them. Especially the self-love thing. I need to make sure that I am in the right mindset for myself, so that my kids grow up loving themselves no matter what. And their bodies are a huge thing, because I have always had self-image issues. I have body dysmorphia, which is not fun. But that is something I've been working on, because I don't want my kids growing up watching me, talk down to myself, being so harsh on myself, and just not appreciating my body, and them doing the same thing. Kids imitate you. They do the things that you do. They end up saying the things that you say. Let's teach our kids better. Let's do better for ourselves. Let's let ourselves thrive and have our kids watch, because they're going to end up doing the same thing. We want our kids to thrive. Let's let them. It starts with us. Again, it starts with us. I literally messed up on my eyebrows, but you know what? That is what concealer is for. Healthy habits. Let's establish healthy habits. And as far as breakups, being single sucks sometimes, but it's honestly a very empowering time. And it might take you a while to feel that empowerment, but believe me, it is worth it, because you end up finding things about yourself. You learn how to appreciate yourself more, and just you learn to embrace it, and good things will follow. Now, my ex-boyfriend and I are really good friends, and I honestly at first thought it was just so strange to have an ex-boyfriend around as a friend, but he's a really good guy, and who doesn't need a friend? And honestly, he is one of the best people to be friends with. He is there for me when I need him. He's there for anybody. If anybody is in need of anything, he's right there. And even though that we're not together, he is still that person. Nick, if you're watching this, I really appreciate you. But yeah, I have learned a lot about myself. And even with all of the bumpy roads throughout this trip, it has been wonderful. Breathtaking. Really. Don't get me wrong. I still have days where I just doubt myself. But I end up picking myself up. Sometimes it feels like you're not going to get to that peaceful place, but I promise you, you will. So hang on tight and enjoy the ride. You are worth more than you think. And that is my story on my life in the past 17 months. So I want to know, what is your dream? What is something that you have always dreamed of doing? What is your dream life? Let me know in the comments. Well, that is it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share the crap out of this video, and subscribe to my channel, guys. I appreciate you guys so freaking much. You guys have no idea. You're all so beautiful, so loved, and worth so much more than you think. Please always remember that. Until next time, guys.